Hey folks, this is Brian. Kind of an interesting situation here. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, with the Origins Game Fair, so I'm running some Runequest role-playing Glorantha here for Chaosium. Had a game last night with one of the new scenarios, Remembering Carlman. So, if in the future you plan on actually going through that scenario, you probably don't want to listen to this stuff because it'll give away some things. But anyway, last night I ran a game. There were four players. And while I made some delay spots as I was reviewing or trying to find stuff, because I go through and I highlight things and make some stuff. Normally what I do is I'll do a copy paste in a Word, and then I can highlight and I can move stuff around so the flow makes more sense to me, and I get rid of a lot of extraneous information and that kind of thing. Well, I didn't have a lot of time with the scenarios for this convention, so I just in PDF I highlighted things and did some underlining and just printed it out the way it's done. And so there's some things that I had to look for. Now I know there's something about this here somewhere, and I have to look back or look forward, and so there's some instances of that during the actual game. But overall, the game seemed to flow fairly well, at least to me. But it turned out that we hit the 4-hour mark, and we were in the middle of the last combat without the big bad guy showing up yet. So I'm not sure what some of the delay was in there. I know there was, because it's a brand new system to a lot of folks, and they don't necessarily know what they can do. They'll be stumped looking at the sheet. So that did happen a couple times. But then there was times when they were asking, I'm not sure what I can do about this, and I have to feed them some information or some guidance, that kind of thing. And it was an okay session. But this morning, we had a great session. There were just 3 players. They were playing, in the last night's game, they did not have Yanioth or Harmast. And both of those characters have significant, if not key parts in the scenario itself. So it was kind of funny that there was a lot of rolling they did that those characters cannot make those rolls. Sorry, failure. But we worked around it, so they got where they need to go. And there's a couple of spots where if you don't have something flowing in right, it can put like a stop to the scenario, which kind of bothered me. There weren't workarounds, written in. If they're not able to do this, or if this person isn't here, have this occur kind of deal. But it's okay. I worked it. But the session this morning, they had Visana, Harmast, and Vishy, the shaman and the noble and the heavy fighter. And so the 3 players, this is their first time playing RuneQuest. And shoot, I don't even think they had played Cthulhu before. So they weren't, really familiar. They weren't familiar at all, really, with Chaosium, the BRP system, that kind of thing. They had done some, I think it was Pathfinder they had done. Because they've got gang groups at home, that kind of deal. Well, anyway, so they role played really well, I thought. They would get into a role, and they'd respond as if in character, and I thought it really, really well from the aspect. And the whole session overall, I thought was great. I had a blast, and they seemed to have a really good time. By the time we got to the end, we were all laughing. But there's a piece at the beginning where one of the new farmers is not able to occupy the holding he's been given because there's an angry ghost there, doesn't let him do anything. So he's going to Harmast, the clan head's son. Hey, Harmast, I need help. There's this ghost and it won't let us do anything. And so he grabs Vishy because Vishy knows all about spirits and stuff, and they grab Vasana and they head up to the farmhouse. On the way there, they meet up with one of the neighbors, and they have a little chat back and forth, and it was really kind of fun. They got some information out of him. He doesn't really have a whole lot, but some pieces of information to get him going. Plus, they've got some word strips of background type information they know, and that sort of thing. Oh, and if you hear this background buzz, it's because I'm actually running this out of my car. I'm staying at a hostel, which was really cheap because all I need is a place to sleep anyway. But there's no place private to do anything, so I'm in my car. And my laptop is getting run down, so I'm charging it up through my car system. Well, anyway, so they had the conversation with the neighbor, and they go, okay, let's just go find her. They discuss a couple of different ways they could do that. Where she's showing up with her, the house when they went inside the house, by sheepfolds when they went to try to take care of the sheep, out in the orchards when they went to go check on the trees and stuff. So she pops up everywhere on the farm. And they know about this whole get off my farm, that kind of thing, stay out of my house, because the farmer had mentioned that to Harmless. So they go out, and I mentioned to one of them that she's obviously paying attention to what's happening. You could try just calling out to her. And so they do this, calling out. I think they knew it was Alanta or Alana. Alanta, I think is her name. But they call out to her. She comes out. There's a piece in there that the Harmless identifies himself as part of the clan, that she'll be more cooperative. He didn't do that, but they did okay. I think I had made some orate rolls, or maybe no, it wasn't charm. I had made an orate roll possibly, and so they were able to get her to communicate. They get her story, and piecing that together with stuff that the farmer or the neighbor had said. They are kind of concerned about her claiming title to the land, because she claims that her son is not dead because she died last season, and he's not in the underworld. But he had gone off to battle, and this was all during the time of the siege of Old Home, and so odds are he's probably dead. But it could be that he ran off somewhere else or met somebody and did something, and so they get on the clue of they need to go to Clearwine and check records there and that kind of thing. So they go to Clearwine. They talk with the lawmaster there. They stop by the Lightbringer's temple and hire a scribe to do some research for them. They go speak with the law speaker because they want to figure out, does this ghost lady really have, a case? And they discuss the whole, how the land transfers via clans, because the husband was of one clan and the wife was of another clan, the clan they're actually at. And so the son was initiated into the father's clan, and who died when determines where it goes, because she's claiming since he's not dead, it can't go to the clan, and that's what the clan did. She died, the clan took possession of the land, and that's where they handed it out to these other farmers. So they have the discussion there. They get some information out of the research done at the Lightbringer's temple. They go and see Harmass's grandfather. He's the storm voice there, and he talks a little bit about a couple things. As, hey, this guy Grant, he survived the Bold Home campaign. Maybe he knows something. So they go and check him. There's a couple of spots here where Vasana and I think it's Harmass can realize who this Garand guy is, because Garand was one of the teachers that Vasana had when she was younger. But she missed her roll. So when they actually show up to the place, I have her roll again because he sees her. Maybe that triggers a kind of thing. And she made that roll. So he turns, looks at her. Vasana, how you doing? You're looking great. What have you been up to? That kind of thing. A little chit chat there. He's got a little school where he's teaching kids 12 to 16 some basic sword fighting and unarmed combat skills. And there's this little piece of the scenario where the players get to practice combat, right? And so he says, how would you like to do a demonstration? And he jumps on that, And Harmas says, hey, I can fight pretty well with a sword. And they pair off together, and then Glorantha agrees to fight the winner. And they're using these wooden swords, and it's just a touch, so there's no real damage bonus kind of stuff. And they got shields, so the odds are, unless you miss rolls, you're not going to get hit. And it's just the 3 touches. But between Harmas and Vasana ends up missing a handful of parries. Well, at least 3, right? Parries, and so Harmas wins, 3-1. And then Harmas and Glorantha get off on it, and Glorantha's got really high score. In fact, he's got 115 with his broadsword, so Harmas parries at -15. I keep reminding about that -15 on the parry, but they just kept making rolls and making rolls and making rolls and making rolls. And there's a handful of specials in there, but because the shields can take damage from a wooden sword, doesn't do much at all. That it went on for a number of rounds before Glorantha actually missed a parry. And so Harmas got touched, and at that point, Glorantha just calls it, "Hey, all right, you win. This has been going on long enough. We don't need to, bug the kids with this back and forth hack and slash stuff." And so he sets the kids back to doing their thing, and then they go around the side of the barn and start talking. He gives his spiel about his deal and all he went through, and about the Sisters of Mercy, and about the girl who showed up later, who had been part of this scouting party. And they previously kind of figured that maybe there was a scouting party that Raban, the kid, was involved with because he was young, and there's some information about this kind of stuff that they picked up on. Okay, so where's this girl? The guy thinks she's back. She's up the White River Valley, and so they go off to the White River Valley. Now, in my first session, we kind of went through the travel and the lodging and interaction in town more slowly. This time, I just narrated right through almost all of that. And I think that helped out a lot with the timing and pace of the game itself. So they find her. They, call out to her as they're approaching. They hear, the whistles. There's some color going on around this thing. And so she opens the door, but she's very wary of anybody, really. And they make some, they try to be polite and interested. They're looking for this girl, and she tells them Illyria is dead. Her name is Varana of the clan of where she's living now. I have my glasses on, so I can't even read my notes. But they make an insight roll. Looks like she's lying. You get that feeling that she's not telling the truth, and so they do some conversation. But they take on, they talk to Varana, but they ask Varana about Illyria stuff. So she's talking to Illyria in third person. That's part of the color. And they get some information out of her. And so they know about the High Valley, and they already knew about the ambush and some other stuff. But once they start really talking, she actually comes out of the house. And so there's a description of her and her tattoos and that kind of thing. So they realize that she's from the Grey Dog clan. Because she's got Grey Dog tattoos, and Harmas has hate Grey Dogs. And so once he realizes that, he stops talking to her. He starts just talking to Vishy. Then Vishy relays information. It was kind of funny. And they rolled it up. It was great. So, but they also noticed the woodpecker tattoo, which is the Ronaldori clan, which is what they are from. But the Grey Dogs and Ronaldori are kind of conflicted, and so they're kind of asking her about that, but she doesn't really talk much about it. Very, downtrodden about the whole situation. It mentions that the wings of the woodpecker have been cut off due to a scar. And I've been playing that off on, that's just, a battle wound, but maybe it was self-inflicted. It doesn't say in the scenario. You get to make those kinds of choices yourself as a GM. But maybe it was self-inflicted. That's interesting. So, the discussion with her and stuff, and she says they can spend the night in the sheepfold, and she goes inside, she plays some music, they recognize the tune as Illyria's Net, and it's about a story of star-crossed lovers kind of thing. They end up killing each other in a battle, but it's only in death that they can be together kind of deal. Well, that night, early in the next morning, before daybreak, they hear screams and struggles, and so they go up and they charge in and see what's going on. Swords drawn. She's asleep on her cot, tossing and turning and screaming and stuff, and so they try to calm her down. They weren't very successful with that, but they ended up getting her calmed down. So next morning, she is not going to do anything. That's her past. It's dead, and she can't go down that road anymore. But she tells him, you need to go and you need to save Raban because she couldn't. So more travel time, more city stuff. There's a piece in there where it talks about making a survival roll to find the trail to go up. They made their survival roll. They spend the night in town. They come back and they go on up. It's kind of designed for a guide to actually do, because there's a bunch of stuff from the guide he gets to a certain point. Says, hey, I'm not going any further. It's Badlands from here, kind of deal. But so they work through up and around, following this stream, and they get to where the massacre had occurred. And I have them make a battle roll, so they realize, okay, this is a really good spot to set up a defense. This is probably where it happened, so they can stop following the trail. And they do some searching around, and they find one of the spirit stones. And there's all kinds of leftover bits and pieces of armor and weapons and stuff. So obviously there was a battle here. So they give the stone to Vichy, and Vichy goes ahead and releases the spirit. And this particular spirit is vengeful. So as soon as he's released, he attacks. And so we have spirit combat between Vichy and this spirit in the stone. And it's not that strong, but I rolled like 3 or 4 +5s during this not during just this but during the entire time. So I was getting specials left and right, and this thing got 2 specials on him. So Vichy's down to 1 magic point, and the spirit's down to like 2 or 3. And then he misses the spirit misses the roll, and Vichy makes his, and so Vichy's able to take him down. So Vichy has 1 magic point himself. He's got a crystal with some points in it, and they're. While that's going on, there's a time ticker going on in the scenario. Certain things happen on round 1, round 2, round 3 after the stone gets picked up and that kind of thing, right? So, or there's another trigger for things happening. So they once the spirit combat is done, because they're all watching Vichy and trying to figure out what can we do. You can cast spells and stuff like that on the creature, but they don't have a lot of magic to be able to do that with these characters. But as soon as Vichy's combat's over, they're back to looking around and stuff, and sure enough, there's these figures coming through the mist towards them. It's the ghouls, and they start to howl. And Vasana is not affected, but Harmast is. So Harmast is demoralized, and so he's kind of protecting Vichy. But Vasana takes around, gets on her mount and charge attacks. Nails one of the ghouls in the abdomen, doing umpteen damage, taking it out. And then she travels on, does a turnaround, so every other round she can do a charge attack kind of deal. That's how we figured it out with the distance and stuff like that. Well, 2 of the ghouls turn towards her, but the other 3 continue on towards Vichy and Harmast. So they engage. There's 3 on Harmast, but the 2 that went to turn to the Bison Rider, you realize there's no way they're going to catch her, so they turn back. So they get there late, so they don't attack this round, just the 3 do, but the other 2 engage with Vichy, right? So there's all this combat going on between the 5 ghouls and the 2 of them. Next round, Sonic comes up, charges another one. Critical hit, roll an +1 to location 20, the head. And she almost maxed out her damage. She gets a 3d6 damage bonus, and she rolled 2 6s and a 3. And so just this guy's head. Everybody loved that. But while that's going on, Harmast has got 3 ghouls on him, 2 claw attacks and a bite. Well, one of the ghouls has a full helmet, can't bite. But two claw attacks and a bite. Their percentages aren't that great, but a couple more specials, and Harmass gets his leg raked up, and so he's down. They end up using a rune point and heal wounds to heal his leg to get him back up. While he's down, he got hit a couple times in that leg. So not only did it go down, but his hit points went down. So he went sub-hit points. And so Vish uses a rune point and a bunch of magic points from his crystal to heal. No, maybe it was just his leg that went down. But he was down, but they need to heal him to get up. Vishy does the heal on him to get him up. So while he's down, the other two ghouls, I mean, they're not going to eat, a down body. They're just, attacking, get everybody down. So they both turn, or three of them, turn on Vishy. Vasana stays on her bison and just does, lance jab attacks at them. Takes the arm off of one, and on second attack takes him down. Later on, she'll do the same thing, hitting really well on an arm and taking it out, that kind of thing. So Harmass gets up. Vishy gets raked in the head and goes to -1 hit points in his head, so he goes down. Harmass ends up taking out one of the ghouls, and then Vasana, I think, finishes off the last one. So they spend another rune point and a bunch of magic points to get Vishy back up. At that point, we had like 20 minutes left in the session, and so I had the Wraith show up. And we didn't even get to the Wraith in my other game, so I didn't realize how badass she really is, but she is horrible. So there's a bunch of color there about what she looks like and all the stuff going on here. She's got this emblazoned moon rune on her breastplate, and she's got this copus that she's got over her head. Her hair is all flying about. She's got a cloak that's burning with cold fire, leaving trails of frost behind her, that kind of thing. And she points her copus at Vasana and does this special attack that she's got, which you do power versus constitution, and if she overcomes their constitution, they lose umpteen points of intelligence. It's half of her magic points, but she hasn't even been, attacked or anything at this point. So she's got 24 magic points. So she's doing 12 points of intelligence damage to these guys. Vasana loses 12 points of intelligence. So she's befuddled, and she's going to pick up in insanity after this thing, right? At the same time that's going on, is when they're doing the heal wounds on Vishy, I believe, because they got tied up. They weren't able to attack this round. No, that's not right. Vishy, something's going on. Vishy's getting up this round. That's why Vishy's getting up this round. Harmast kind of debates about going back to get on his zebra to do a charge over to her, but by the time that distance differential occurs, he could just run to her in 2 rounds rather than taking 2 rounds to ride to her. So he decides to run to engage. So he does that, and she does her special attack on him. He's got really weak con, so that gets overcome, and he loses a bunch of intelligence, and he's befuddled as well. So Vishy spent that previous round that was things going on digging through Vasana's stuff because he knows she has a power crystal, and he's been using up all his magic points with all his healing and other stuff that he just doesn't have a lot, right? So he pulls her stone, casts spirit block on himself, 3 points, and then discorporates and engages in spirit combat. So all this is going on for the couple rounds that she's taking out the rest of the party. So they do spirit combat. She's got 24 power. She does like 2d6 plus 3, I think it is. Spirit damage. So he does hit. She hits. So he does, I think it was like 7 points, magic points of damage to her, but she did like 12 to him. But he only had 1 left. So she possesses him, and the other two die of exposure days later. They got a real kick out of that. Probably shouldn't have thrown the Wraith at them because they only had 3 PCs, but we had 20 minutes. What the heck? And we can see what it's like. And they had a blast. They thought it was hilarious. So the quest failed. That was the best game I've had. Well, it's best game so far in Origins, but I've got like 3 games tomorrow and then like 4 or 5 on Saturday. I'm running a couple of demos that are only 2 hours long, but it's going to be a booked weekend. I had a new scenario, Fainting Spirit, but nobody showed for my game this afternoon. So I've been trying to review on that some more and get prepped up because I run that first thing tomorrow morning. So we'll see how things go. But anytime, 25 minutes. Happy gaming.